Okay, the reason it's been taking so long to get things done, and I've alluded to this before, is the systems revamp and upgrade really fast. We have to revamp and upgrade too. What is the goal? The goal is being able to do everything you can do for a business that can be done around the humans in a rapid manner. And for a lot of you guys as well, if you have access to tools like this, or you're running through us and we're doing this to help companies, these combinations are huge. And let me just show you how huge. This guy put this video out recently, and it's explaining the state of where we are right now. Pay attention. This is interesting.
I'd never heard of it either. But as of this week, it's running the largest autonomous AI agent operation I've ever seen in my life, and I've been staring at this stuff for 18 months like it's a Daytona 500 car wreck that just went on and on and on for hours like it did last week. 509 active companies, growing at 186% week over week. $237,000 in annual run rate revenue, growing at 132% week over week. 23,634 tasks completed, 16,654 emails sent, 438 tweets posted, 1,544 documents created, 44 new ads placed on Meta, spending real dollars, all in the last 24 hours, and 402 new companies launched in one day, generating company names, writing entire websites, deploying them live on the internet, creating email outreach campaigns, running Facebook ads, and tweeting, all without a human touching a single button. 402 times in 24 hours. I'd never heard of it either.
What he's talking about is everything that we've been realizing is the natural direction to go in. So this is where we've been heading. Being able to pull themes efficiently from the internet and add them to our inventory, be able to create tons of themes rapidly and be able to add to them rapidly to keep up with the latest, greatest, and differentiation of themes and be able to use them for everything. And then having all of them interconnected. So all the AI information, whenever people call in and talk, we can hear anything we never talked to them about before, any questions we never knew answers to, and that can get spread through the databases that feed everything. And so let me just walk you through really, really fast some of the crazy strength of all of this. So if I were to go here, even when I'm extracting themes, okay, in the very first place, what I want to do is I want to move very, very fast. I may have gone to the internet and found a couple of themes that I think are really cool. And I just want to go ahead and grab these things. And I say extract, right? And it goes and it gets these websites for me. Now, that's just the beginning of all the steps, all right? And some of these take a little longer to grab than others. There's more involved to be done by them. But the reality check is we're grabbing them, converting them to dynamic, moving them to themes, starting QA runs, fixing all the little mistakes. And it really just takes a couple of hours each on average. And so then we have these new themes. Now, any one new theme can feed 100 websites. But instead of just using one theme for 100, we have like 20 themes, and we'll do 5 websites each with them in any one project run that we do. So the bigger we go, the easier it is to go bigger by just continuing through all of this process, right? So if we're going to do this, we might say convert to dynamic. Yes, please. And so it's done. We refresh, and we can just open these and make sure we're moving in the right direction. Okay, no images, no videos, but we grabbed the background and we started to put in our own pieces of information. And so this theme is ready for us to move forward, to fill it with images and videos and content. Now, it probably still has errors in the structure for the admin panel, but that's just the point. We're going to be able to get that taken care of pretty quickly. At the same time that happened, this other theme. Okay, so we'll get this thing fixed too. It's just an undefined item in the menu because it never was here. All right, we'll just go through and we'll finish updating all this stuff. This is all our information, by the way, our content, not the content that came off the website. You probably recognize a chunk of it. So this one's so much faster and easier to get prepared for what we want to do. So if we just grab a lot of themes and download them, we can tell which ones are easier to work with, harder to work with. We even have checks for that, which have bigger mistakes, which have smaller ones. Throw out the hard ones, keep running with the better ones. But the fact that we can do this so rapidly with pretty much any themes out there, right? Any HTML themes, and there are literally millions, okay, means that we can keep up with growth, no problem. One system can do that. Okay, now what I want to do is move forward and make some points. What do we need? We need phone numbers, right? Because any one person can call in and talk to an AI. And with one phone number on a website for customer service, 50 people can call it at the same time and talk to the AI. Did you know that? No busy signal. You don't need a busy signal with an AI. So you don't need a call to go to voicemail because somebody can't answer it. Okay? Not just that. Those 50 people who call that phone number at the same time could be speaking different languages. And it's handling them all. And if it's supposed to put them through questionnaires, it puts them through questionnaires in their language. And if it produces the printout, the PDF or whatever from the questionnaire, and it sends it off to whoever it needs to, it'll send the matching English and native language version to whoever it needs to for each guy, along with sending each of those guys their version back in both languages. And while that's happening, this could be for a different project, this can be for a different project, this can be, and all these are for different projects, right? The phone numbers go on for all the different projects. But any one of these phone numbers could be used on multiple websites for whatever the project is. Okay, if all the projects on a website belong to one guy, then all of that can run through that one guy's phone number. Isn't that neat? It's huge, really. Now, behind every one of these phone numbers, we don't just have one customer service rep. We have listeners and actors. So we have an email sender that can do whatever needs to be done for sending emails to anyone based on what the main guy instructs it to do. And this is an AI, right? And it instructs the appointment scheduler to set appointments. And it instructs the web searcher to look things up super fast and provide answers. It instructs the deep researcher to go and do deep research for like 10 minutes and produce an actual report and send it in. It instructs the advanced deep researcher to go and do like a 30-minute study, a real deep research, go way out, summarize, condense, make the right report, send it in for when we really need answers to a lot of really important questions. This is going to be when you try to get your whole business plan figured out, that kind of thing. This is going to be when you say, all right, all my stuff has been figured out, we've launched it, but I want to keep up with the Joneses. What are my competitors doing and how do I catch up? And this is stuff like, where am I ranking? Show me some of the keywords I'm ranking on right now, or some of the questions I'm ranking for. What are some of the things my competitors are ranking for, where I should be or want to be? Things like that. How do I know how many versions of something there are? I can just look it up real super fast. And then there's the knowledge base file assistant. Whenever we make updates to the underlying stack of information related to our business, that's in a drive folder, in a file in the drive folder, and all of this operates from that. So each different knowledge base file runs all of this really from the back end. It's just look up information that we have about our company. What's our pricing? What are our products? What are our services? How do we bundle things? When are we open and close? What do we do well? What don't we do well? What do we do better than competitor A? What do we do better than competitor B? Why would somebody choose us? What are the FAQs? All that kind of thing. What kind of questions came in that we need to update in our knowledge base file? Can you believe it? If all of this is running and people call in and ask something we never answered, AI will tell them, hey, it'll get back to them with an answer. It can send it to their email or can have somebody call them back, right? Who can answer the question. At the same time that's happening, guess what? There's a feedback loop to update a knowledge base file. And that's why we need this guy. Okay. And then along with that, what if somebody came in through chat? Okay. They're chatting with the little chat agent in the side window, right? And they're asking questions that have not been asked before. Same thing. it feeds updates into the knowledge base where we're going to be able to answer those questions and put that stuff into the knowledge base. So now everyone is trained better instantly. Everyone knows the answers they did not know, including the chatbot. I'll get to know the answers as soon as that information is revealed, either by a live human or by some deep research or a web search that AI knows to do to look up the information and add it into the file so that everybody is aware of it. Okay, so it knows when to bother doing that, when not to do that, when it can do it itself, and when it needs to defer to a human. All of that is interconnected. And how is that for nuts? Because that can handle hundreds of sites for a single project for just one phone number. While another phone number runs another whole project that is parallel. It's the same thing, but parallel. And it runs its own knowledge base file with its own information, all in parallel. And it's got its own chatbots on its 100 sites doing its thing all in parallel. Okay? That's crazy. And that leads to us having these massive, powerful interim steps for making sure to handle everything that we need to handle to be able to keep everything going. The cold calling without the phone numbers turning into spam likely or scam likely. Because it doesn't happen. We catch that. We instantly change out the phone numbers when that happens. Well, immediately. We check every 100 calls. And we catch it. And so we update that whenever that happens, right? But anything and everything that we need, we have built all these tools for. And by doing that, we can do so much. We can run the company. We can create invoices, estimates. We can produce PDFs. We can send emails either directly to a prospect or to a reference person. The prospect guy says, you got to talk to Tom. He's the guy who makes the decision. Oh, sure. What's Tom's email? What's Tom's phone? And we can call Tom and leave him a message. We can email Tom with an attached PDF with the estimate or the invoice or whatever it is, right? All this done automatically, okay? And all of this can be run in parallel for tons and tons and tons of companies. Look at just how much stuff is here. I've gone like not even 2/3 of the way down yet. Okay. All this feeds in to the drive folder with whatever the scenario is. There are a lot of parallel drive folders. And in each drive folder is all these different subfolders that get fed with updates, depending on what the updates are that happen from the communications with people. So our knowledge base keeps getting smarter and smarter and smarter about how the business runs. First, it starts with humans uploading stuff to train it. You know, this is our company literature. This is our motto. This is our mission statement. These are our products and services, what we offer and what we don't, how we approach things and who our general clientele is and what their persona is and how we talk to people and how we handle issues and objections and complaints and so on. All of that is forming the knowledge base for the company. This is how we compare against our competitors, A, B, and C. Okay? So anything that we thought needed to be covered got covered. Anything that did not get covered, that's okay, because the whole system is going to listen to people, the workers, the prospects, the clients, everyone, the employees. And anytime something new happens and it's read that way, it's understood that that's new and recurring, the kind of thing we need an answer to, then it defers to a human for the answer, whoever it's told to, or it looks it up, depending on the protocol, and then it updates these files. And then that goes to this guy telling everyone else, hey, be aware of it. How's that for nuts? Okay, so then what? Well, we go through all this. So then what? Well, that's just what I want to say. That even gets to social media posting, because part of that loop is what else do we put into the websites? Let's create new content in the websites over these new topics we never talked about before. And then from that new content, let's create it, create the images for it, create the videos for it, create all the cool stuff that makes that a valuable page, because first we'll do competitor research on that topic. Make sure we know the best that our competitors are saying, and then create a more involved page that answers stuff that they did not answer. So we'll do topical authority, We'll fill in niche gaps. We'll make a better page or set of pages, and we'll put that together. We'll create better, images and videos, form that, make a version for each of the 100 sites if that's what's happening. And then on, again, the protocol, all of them or some of them, whatever the scattered scheduled release is going to be, we're going to be able to social post out. Because each of these websites auto-create their own social media accounts through our system, okay, for themselves on different platforms. And after they auto-create on those different platforms, they're able to socially post, and they can invent their own posts based on what? The content of the new pages that we put up. So we can tell it how its limits go. Say we put up 10 new pages today, but we only say don't post more than twice a day, 4 times a day. No problem. So then we tell it, go for the next 4 posts the next day or the day after that, whatever we want. So then it knows its schedule, right? And so it will then read the page, come up with a really cool, quick pitch that fits in social media size for each of the social media platforms, and it will decide when to create an image or a video and when not to. And then it'll produce all that stuff. Okay? And yes, we're getting even into the systems that do the ad generations and posting that lead back to it, because that also goes into social media. It's pretty much the same concept, except it's the ad side of the house. We're getting to that. Okay? What's the point though? Pretty much everything that guy said is what we're doing with this system, and why it's interesting to companies, why it's interesting to those of you who want to run a system like this yourself. Okay? So let me put that list back out there again. I'm going to restart it and then cut about halfway into this video so you can get the point. One more time, you'll hear it from the point of view of what are we able to do now that you've seen the pieces I put out.
But as of this, growing at 132% week over week.
It can do that.
23,634 tasks completed.
All automated.
16,654 emails sent.
We can do that.
438 tweets posted.
We can do that.
1,544 documents created.
We can do that.
44 new ads placed on Meta, spending real dollars, all in the last 24 hours.
Yeah. We need to catch up and keep up
new
with
companies
these guys.
Launched in one day.
402 companies. Well, we're launching 100 every time we do 100 websites. Those are 100 companies, each with their own social media presence, each able to email out, each able to cold call, each able to handle customer support incoming, each with their own live chat agents. All the knowledge bases are shared, but have the variables for each different one of those affiliates or refer sites or franchisee sites, because that's how they're treated. Okay? So it's all able to be run beautifully. I don't know what to tell you, but this is amazing, and this is where we are, and this is the stuff we're offering. So companies want to hop on board. They want to start paying. They don't want to mess this up. This is where everything's going. Okay, so if you want to keep up, you're going to have to keep up with the scale, the scope, the size of this level of project, which is what kept kind of pulling at us as we were growing into it. We knew we had to think bigger and do bigger to get there. I don't know how many people are outfitted to be able to pull this off. He's talking about something that sounds like a big billionaire company in the back room running a secret about launching and just doing stuff without letting anyone know. It doesn't even have to be a billionaire company, right? It could be a $5 million company in the back room doing that. The reality check is we can do this. Okay, and not only that, we can empower those of you who are interested in doing this kind of thing for whatever your project is to be able to do this too. Okay, so this goes for those of you who are putting your faith, trust, time, money into us to run projects on your behalf as position owners, position holders, and then the guys who own your own projects, whatever they are. If you want access to things like this, we're making that available for you as well. So it's crazy because this will get absolutely huge, and there's going to be net benefit for all of you in this. For example, if it takes us a day to create 2 or 3 templates, okay, and that has a certain cost to it, right? The templates cost a certain amount to totally work through the content. Well, say 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 of you guys are involved in this thing. Each of you are making a payment monthly who are, in order to be able to use all this stuff, because there's a cost to everything. There's a cost of generating content, cost of generating video, cost of generating images, cost to domains, cost to the storage, cost to the WHM. I'm just putting it out there because people have been asking me, some of you guys have been asking me how you can get involved and do you need to. I had a couple of guys get a hold of me and they just told me it's a war right now, because the economy's going down. People are losing their jobs to people who understand AI. We have to go out there and catch up super fast. We have to counterbalance that now. Those of you who are relying on your job to stay, if it's a physical job, like you're a plumber, you've probably got another 5 to 10 years before the robots are doing it. First, the brains have to be invented, then attached to the robots that are also good enough for the brains to be able to fully function well enough, right? But this stuff is changing fast. Those of you who see the self-driving cars in Las Vegas and San Francisco, you know that, and they're totally autonomous. They are self-driving cars, and there are lots of things like that coming out left and right. But this is the point. If you want to scale and make a lot of money today, you need to be able to move at this speed to keep up. So we had to do it. And those of you who want to do this too, that's where we're making available. Let me get back to that template thing. Each of you guys who are making whatever payments to be in at whatever level, I am going to make sure each of you are able to get a copy of all the themes that are being produced for each of you, because I want your money to spread that far. Okay, I want the templates to be cheap. In other words, if Tom pays for a template, Harry pays for a template, Dick pays for a template, Mary pays for a template, and pays for a template, then they each got one template, but that's 5 templates. It's 5 different, totally cool, totally professional, totally modern templates. We'll make sure of that. So that means you can each get a copy of those 5 and use them for your own projects and your own stuff. So now your cost per template was 1/5. What if 10 of you are involved? Cost per template is 1/10. Okay, so costs go down as more and more people get involved in this stuff that we're doing. All right, and abilities go up. Same with sharing, like the best prompt basis for assistants. I've created some incredibly cool prompts now for assistants that you speak with on the phone that sounds so real. People do not know anymore that they're talking to AI. I've watched a lot of recorded calls where the guys spoke for a long time with our agent over the phone and did not know it was an AI at all. They had no idea. It sounded too real and it acted too real. All right, I'm just saying lots of stuff is coming out right now, and we are really at the forefront of getting all this mastered. And as we offer this to companies, they want in. It's the whole idea of outsource your AI department and let us set it up in your image. Right now, you're able to call if you subscribe to a system. And what I really mean is the companies are subscribing to get assistance for their key employees. And once they make the payment, they get the email. The email's got the phone number they call with the information. So when they call, they tell over the phone to an AI what kind of agents they want and what they're supposed to do. And it sets it all up and emails them basically a copy of the squad. This right here. And it emails them a copy of a drive folder that's all prepared, complete with email template for their company. It emails them a lot of things so that they're able to take off and go do. All these functions that they need are attached for them. They're cloned, created, and attached for them. The live chat agents made for them. Whatever they need is made for them on the spot. How's that for nuts? It's really, really something else. So, yeah, it's taken us a long time to get through all of this hassle to get to this point, but we are at the point now where we don't need to build new things anymore unless systems break and redevelop. But I think they got so good about their new integration, and this really works quite well, that they're probably not going to change anytime soon. Besides, a lot of people probably got bitchy about them having done the update the way they did this past time. We had to rebuild from scratch, but we did. All right, just letting you know. I mean, we can drop voicemails all night. We can make cold calls all day. We can take customer service calls all day. We can have personal assistants running things and writing emails, going through files, doing accounting, doing finance, doing invoices, doing estimates, right? For all the people, and updating files and folders and everything, and making websites and making them extremely powerful, and just sharing information across all the websites and doing all the posting, all the stuff that before was so hard companies never did it, or they just had to outsource it all. Now they can take it in and do it smartly by letting it do itself. Okay, so yeah, finally, we're here and we're launching, and it's a big benefit for the position owners, and it's also hugely beneficial for those of you who want to get involved in these tools, because we're putting them out. For those of you who want to get involved, and all of you guys who are position owners, you can get a big discount on whatever it is that we're releasing in the way of packages, which we're just figuring out how to price at this level now, so that you can run this for your own project. So get a hold of me so I understand what you need and what we can do for you. All right. Aside from that, real soon, we're going to be mass cold calling again with the whole AI setup working. We've got a few more connections, because this whole thing that we've been doing here with all these tools, still kind of new. We're still catching little things and updating it. We always think we're done. We're not quite, but we're almost done. Like this right here. This tool is brand new. This fetch themes tool, where we go and put in the domains, fetch the themes, and then choose to change the themes. We had an issue where we were trying to upload global variables, and it's got a column in the file for which theme number on the website. We realized we don't have a way of seeing that. And so when we uploaded it, it broke all the front pages. We're like, well, we've got to see what themes are even on each of the admin panels. They're different. And then we've got to select from one of them, but we don't want it all to be the same. So we invented the tool, and now we're going to create the scenario that runs that tool. And that way we can connect that to the squad background information so it knows how to run that tool. And that way, we can always make sure everything is caught up and updated and able to be updated over the phone. But pretty soon, yeah, anyone can do almost anything pretty soon. You're going to be able to make a phone call and say, create 50 sites for me about this. Focus on these things, not those. Come up with the company names. Go get the phone numbers, one per company. Attach them all to this squad here, but with the variables for the companies, the different websites. And I want you to run this and run this, and send people here to make the payment, whatever, the payment page on this website over here. Just going to talk like a human over the phone, as though you were talking to a human. It's going to sound like you're talking to a human, but it's going to be an extremely smart human who remembers everything you said and does it right the first time. And that's pretty much where we are anyway. We're just putting the last connections together to make it work at that level. It's crazy. All right, that's enough of that. Been going on forever, but I thought you want to know what's happening, and it's all huge. Okay, take care.